Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Sheets, and we're going to be going over several DFS sports, which are all kind of starting around the same time, I guess. Uh, Hope you guys are having a good Saturday. Again, this time slot is becoming kind of a uh, gold standard, not gold standard. So nice little niche that I can probably handle. U.S. Open starting at 11. Then we have LEC, LCS starting at noon, and we actually have the PGA showdown starting at noon as well. So normally I would wait till 11:30 and do both PGA and LEC, LCS, but we're going to do US Open as well. So this is the order. We're going to start US Open, then we're going to do, I think, showdown, and then we're going to do LEC, LCS. Okay, so all three, back to back to back. And if we have time for hashtag push-ups, we'll do hashtag push-ups, meaning that, we have to punish ourselves for not getting unique in these, short slate type, sports. Okay. So first things first, we're already passing the test in that we are sharing our screen. I don't know what it is. Project Mayhem pointed out the last couple of days that I forgot to share my screen. So we're doing that. So the good thing is even though we're kind of deep into the U.S. Open, we still have a full 16-game slate. Now, again, 16 is not as big as 30, obviously, but 16 you can still play without getting too crazy with striving for uniqueness. Now, again, I'm a real stickler for this stuff. So, and the reason why, just think about this for a second. Like if you have two lineups and one of them is duped twice compared to the other one, which is unique. Do you know how much better the duped lineup has to be for you to play that instead of the unique lineup? The way the results distribute, it's crazy. So you really need to be cognizant of that always. So first thing we're going to do, U.S. Open first. We're going to we'll build 5,000, but we're going to play 50, but we'll build 51, and we'll use I was going to say the stock things, but I don't know how many. It can't be 10,000 people, so it'll be about 5,000 people in this. We'll set it for 150 max, so big sim diversity, and then we are going to build this stuff. Okay. What we probably should do is, while this is going on, see how many entries there are so that we could do our geo-mean setup if in fact that's what we want to do. There's only 26 minutes of post time here, actually. 15,000 for first, which is pretty big for a Saturday kind of 16 game slate. Let's just see something. Tennis. This is as we're building all this. It's taking a little bit of time, but that's okay. So it's 3,529 entries. So again, this is all in prep. So we'll put 3,529 in our geo-mean filter. And so if in fact we do want to do this, we will see that we're looking at somewhere around a 25 geo-mean if we want to do that, somewhere between 17 and 25. But we don't want to do that pre-build. We want to do it post-build. Okay, so this is our main 50, 5,000 lineups or whatever. And we're sorting them just by, at first, the large slate metric, which is, for those who are newly initiated, this is the formula that SaberSim uses. So it would be, just to cut right to it, it's using the 95th percentile outcome of the lineup, which is fine. I like the 99th percentile one a little bit better, the shorter the slate is. And then you are dinging it for average ownership about minus 0.2, which is not that big of a deal. It's not really aggressive. Now, you could change this, right? You could copy down this same metric and go to 99th percentile outcome, which I do sometimes, or minus 0.5, but it's fine. We're going to actually use the sims anyway to rank them, so I'm not too worried about this. So let's first save these to the contest. I don't even care who these are. I don't want to see who they are. I really don't care. And let's upload those here. And then what this allows us to do is to download this contest sim data a little bit faster. Like you see, it's all here already now. Like the recommended field lineups, and then how many people are in the contest, percent to first, and all that. And it has that for the line painter as well. So, I mean, I guess does it matter who we have? It really doesn't. So I'm not going to really bother with that. So next part of the process is, again, we put this aggregate metric thing to work. And what this is doing, again, is it's setting this average projected score on top so that when we make our changes, it can keep track of how badly we're affecting the average projection. So like, for example, if we didn't want to do the sims and we want to just take these lineups and go min uniques 2 instead, you see that the average projection dropped by a point. And then if you go to average projection min uniques 3, it dropped by, what was it, 2 points? What was that? 334.1. I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, by 2 points. So that's a pretty decent drop. So maybe I would go to min uniques 2 if I were going to, make that change to give us a little more diversity, which means something. But for everything that you get, you have to give something back, and that is usually average projection. Okay, so if you didn't want to run the sims, you could probably just like throw these in there and just kind of be done with it. The other thing you'll note, for those of you who've asked, is I almost never set a maximum exposure or a minimum exposure to any player in any sport. I do have a lot of faith in the systems to give me what I need. And again, for those of you that have been there before, I mean, you can, for those of you that played DFS before, like all these new tools came out, it's good, but it's bad. I mean, you have these preconceived notions of what lineups are supposed to look like. And what you end up doing sometimes is using the sims to justify what you wanted to do in the first place, pretty much. And I think that's actually flawed. I think that if the sims are doing what they're supposed to, it's supposed to actually teach you how and why your biases may have been wrong. So I use this kind of a terrible analogy, I guess, is that like the Rolling Stones song is you have to decide whether this, using these tools is to help you get what you want, where I like to use them to help you get what you need. So that's just me. Actually, not just me, but it is me. So let's figure out, again, if we are going to run these contest sims, what contest fields to use. And we've been pretty good about these decisions recently. So there are two main choices as far as I can see, and that is using the predefined, contest field that SaberSim offers you, or creating your own. And for me, the easiest way to create my own is, I ran 5,000 lineups with a really tight projection set. Tight meaning I don't think there's just that big of a difference. Listen, tennis projections are the most trivially easy things to do on your own. So you're not going to be that much different from anybody, really. So I feel as though when I build 5,000 lineups with my projections, it's going to be a pretty good reflection of what the field is going to do. So to sim those against that field makes a lot of sense. But I do like to see like kind of the character of these. Like, so for example, let's first take a look at what it would look like if we use the pool that we created as the contest field. And what I do like about this is that it does actually, have some high ownership of a couple of guys. It's not that smooth. Okay. Like this Maycheck guy. I mean, he's, clearly like the top owned guy. Okay. Now let's look at the contest field we would use if we would use the stock SaberSim flagship MME. And what that would look like if we, click on players and expand this, it's a little smoother. Actually, it has two guys. That's a much different pool than mine. So if you use and we're not saying who we're playing, we're using we're trying to figure out what field to use to compare our lineups to for the purposes of optimizing, our expected ROI. So this field has Sinner and Thompson at the top. That's the flagship MME. Where ours, on the other hand, has Maychek at the top, followed by other guys. And Sinner, where is Sinner down at, 18%. So that's a very interesting decision that we have to make. So we can get into this a little more. So what's more likely? I actually do have Maychek as a highly, very highly owned as far as projection goes. So maybe this is the best one to use, is build one. Okay. So let's use build one for today. And as you've seen by doing these like every day for the last, since US Open started, I guess, sometimes we'll use the SaberSim one. Sometimes we'll use ours. Probably the best way is to do some kind of blend. But for now, this is my process. So let's change these to build one. Build one, and the breakpoint, I guess just this, we'll use that as well for build one. Maybe not the best idea, but we're going to do that. So now let's run the contest sims. Okay. And then we'll put some in uniques one for a second. And then let's see. And then we will go, line painter. And then what we want to do is figure out how many min uniques work for us. So with an average projection of 334, let's see what we can do here. So let's go down min uniques 2. We go to 333.7, so it's down 2 points. Here it's down another 1 point. And here it won't even allow us to have 50. So let's go back to this one. We'll go to the min uniques 3 here. It is a small enough slate where we can be a little bit kooky. Now what I like to do, I like to put these in first. Okay, we could change them in a minute, but just in case, I only did dummy lineups to kind of start off with. Let's put these in. Let's look at the break point, and we'll just put in the main, whatever the top lineup is there. And then just so I have this done. This way, we at least have something. That's good. Okay. So the next thing I want to consider is whether to use geo-mean filtering. And now we did this before, right? We put geo-mean here, and I want to just kind of experiment a little bit with this. So we want to have at the most 25.5 geo-mean, and if we could get down to even less, okay, without really costing us too much as far as average projection, I want to do it. So let's see. Average projection again is 333.12. So let's see what happens if we do a geo-mean. And you see already, like the geo-mean of some, like the top lineup is 29.37. So just this lineup is going to be gone. Okay, and it's something that you have to really embrace. Okay, that this lineup, which is the top lineup from the Sims, okay, is going to be gone from this. And you have to make peace with that if you want to really try to get unique in this, and as we get into NFL Showdown and so many other sports like this, like MMA and NASCAR, like all these sports where uniqueness plays such a big role. Forget baseball. Baseball, you don't even need to worry about that. Basketball, football, not really. Just so many entries and so many combinations. But here there aren't. So let's go add filter, geomean, and because the first one, the 25.6 is going to take out the top lineup. Maybe that's all we really need to do. I mean, maybe we don't need to, or maybe it's not wise to do any more than this. Okay. So if you did this takes out that top lineup. Nah, sorry, Pete. You know what? I'm not even think I'm allowed to play college football. You know? I don't even think I can play college football in New York yet. Unless they changed it. If they did, I'm going to start putting up projections or whatever. But no, I don't really follow it for DFS. Goldie says, if I run EPL yet? Oh, yeah, EPL is long gone. And that's already at halftime. It's going to be, after this, we're going to do golf and then LOL. Okay. So here, I think this is reasonable. So actually, this was 332.4. What was it before? Hang on. So if we take out the filter, it was 330. I mean, it's really not that big a deal. So we should probably push the envelope here a little bit. And then what we can do is add even a lower geomean that does not impact the average to that much. Let's call it 330. Okay. So let's see what's the lowest geomean we could put in that will let me be at 330. Let's go 24. Yeah, this is pretty good. Okay. Now, again, we're getting very unique. Okay. Which is what we really want to do. And it's really not affecting our average projection. Okay. Which is what I like. We're still at min uniques 3. I really am kind of liking this build. Oh, good. Oh, that's great, Goldie. That's awesome. It's not going to be for me because I'll tell you this: if I can't play it, I'm not doing it. All right. But so the lowest we can get to. I mean, I don't want to push my luck here, but can I get to 17.4? Probably not. I mean, I probably shouldn't push my luck too much here. No, Petey. I do this. I do this for fun. And here's still 330, which is very, very good. Got 12 minutes to go. This is asking for it. Let's go less than 22. All right, now we're 329. Yeah, so we don't want to push ourselves too much. Okay, so let's go back to 23. And of course, what you guys should know already is what does this all have to do with tennis? Nothing, right? Of course not. But listen, as I said, the projections are easy. Okay, you could build a tennis projection model like in 2 seconds. Because really all it is win odds with a little bit of adjustment for aces, and that's it. All right, so let's save these then to Line Painter. And just for funsies, let's just make sure that the breakpoint is we're not getting duped here. So it would be 150. And this is available on the website, actually, if you're a subscriber. So 29.5 at the most. So this is really not going to be a big deal. So this is, so we can get rid of this filter and we should be fine. Yeah, 29.37, well within the range. We'll use that. Down we go. And up we go. And no, I have not taken a look at who we have. All that will do is give me agita. We'll worry about that later. We'll worry about that after the slate locks. Yeah, thanks, man, Petey. Yeah, I mean, one of these days I'll talk about why I do this. It's like I always I manage a hedge fund full time, right? And I've been doing that for 22 years. But I always have something going on the side. Like I used to play backgammon, tournament backgammon, play tournament chess. Then I got into poker for quite a while. Did a lot of playing, did a lot of, did the training site, did backing because it's a similar skill set to managing portfolios is this, and it keeps my brain working. And quite honestly, managing a hedge fund is very boring. So I always have a little something going on the side. And DFS I started, several years ago. It's kind of like the way I keep my brain working. And listen, I do pretty well at it, make money at it, but whatever. I do like the puzzle and figuring it out and helping other people do it. So that's why I got involved with Bobby with the training site. Is I enjoy the content and I enjoy delivering it. So hopefully it helps. Anyway, okay. So that is going to be the whatchamacallit, the tennis. So now I think what we have to do, let me just see something. Yeah, then we will do the you're not off to a good start in the soccer, but soccer is awesome. Soccer, just one goal, just puts everything back. So that's going to be fun. All right, so let's do what do we want to do first? Golf? Yeah, I might as well do the golf showdown next. So we'll go to the round 3, and we will upload the projections here. And the one thing about okay, so not the one thing. PGA Showdown, I think I know why I've done so well at this. Okay. It's because I really legitimately don't care who we have in Showdown. Showdown golf is just the ultra combination of like a variance on top of variance. You have one of the most variant sports in the world being golf. I mean, think about this, like 1 millimeter off of the club different. It's either 2 feet from the hole or in the water. Okay. And you combine that with Showdown, which means everybody gets just 18 holes. Okay. You have just about the most variant sport there is. So it really just comes down to lineup construction, ownership stuff, and just a lot of technical baloney is the way what I like to say. And on this particular slate, when you only have 30 golfers, okay, then it's like ole and free. Okay, it's legit. You must not get duped. And I would say maybe we should do this analysis one day. Is if you give me a random lineup. All right, I'll tell you what. I would suggest that you give me 20 lineups that leave less than 500 on the table that are unique. I will get those against everything else, regardless of who's in them. Just because the ability to be unique and not have to split with 5 people is just so huge. And the difference between how well one lineup's going to do against the other in Showdown golf is so slim that you really need to do whatever you can to get unique. Now, this is within reason. You know what I mean? Like, how unlikely is it I can get unique? I can play 6 golfers that are not going to play. And no one's else going to play that, but they're going to get 0 points. But so how much projection integrity are you willing to give up? And I'm willing to give up a lot. So let's just see. So here's the 50 lineups I kind of created. And unlike other sports, like golf Showdown, if you look at the stock SaberSim Showdown, you will see that it does attempt to get super aggressive. Okay. So you have the 99th percentile outcome of the lineup which is huge, and you're dinging it 0.4 times the average ownership. So you could argue that that you don't even need to run the Sims, okay, to get this thing going. Especially considering that the ability to run the Sims is dependent on you knowing what the contest field is going to do. And Showdown is extremely hard because just like I'm trying to get unique, other people are too. So it's not like you can just run these 5,000 lineups, and these 5,000 lineups were based on, like good upside, whatever it is. But this doesn't take into account that a lot of players are intentionally leaving money on the table and forcing in low ownership in the name of being unique. So it's tough, okay, to actually predict the contest field. So I have no problem just going with this, okay, at least as a start. But so we have it, let's put this stuff or whatever. Let's download the contest field data, at least. If we were going to run the Sims, and let's just do this, add all contest Sims. Good. So what I might do is for the bigger buy-ins, I will use the Sim stuff. But for mine, I might just use this golf main. So here's one thing I want to look at again. If I did want to apply the Sims, is what the pool would look like if I just used mine. So in mine, it would be Schauffele, Henley, and Scheffler at 33%, followed by Colin Morikawa. And Morikawa, I think, is going to be probably a little bit higher owned today than he could be, just because he's in contention now. He had a huge day yesterday, and I feel as though that people just really overemphasize the last day's performance. So I think that 30%, I think that could be accurate, but I think you probably want to come in under that. So anything to kind of ding the ownership, I think, makes sense. Let's take a look before we actually run this stuff and we'll take a look at tennis, by the way, at how we did as far as the contest fields in a minute. We'll do that in between golf and LEC. Again, I don't know quite how to organize this. So let's look at the contest fields and see what those would look like. Again, if we use those for, say, the lottery here. So if we look at players here, it's very similar. You know what I mean? You have the only thing that's really different is the Henley. So Henley, in my view, in my runs, was really a very kind of a standout in third. But here, he's just a guy. And I actually think that this is a little bit more likely, that he is just a guy. Fleetwood had a good performance. I think he's going to be higher owned than Henley. I mean, Fleet was 300, just 300 more, and he was great yesterday. I think that the flagship MME build is going to be better than mine, than the build one for this particular slate. So let's do that. Let's change. Let's keep all these the way they are. So Summer Sand Trap, we're going to use flagship MME. And here we're going to keep this. We're going to keep all these the way they're supposed to be, because I think the Saber Sim thing has as good. Yeah, sure, Rory can make a run. Why not? I mean, it's golf. Anything's possible. I hate to be glib like that, but that's kind of the deal. So do we use golf main, or do we use the contest Sims? Well, the good thing is, let's not worry about it quite yet. Let's first get the geomean stuff that we need. So there's 9,411 entries. So let's put this in. So to get the uniqueness we need, it's got to be somewhere between 14.8 and 21. So, like, for example, here, geomean of 19 in the first one, that's pretty good. So it looks like most all of these, at least it's not all of them, but most of them are going to be filtering pretty easily. But again, let's do aggregate metrics so we can keep track. Average projected score. And so the average projected score right now is 231.4. So first thing we do is we go min uniques 2. Still 231. 3, 230.9. And then 4, 228. So that's no good. So we'll go back to min uniques 3. Okay. So this is at least where we're starting. So 230.98 is where we're starting. So let's do them both. We'll do it after we run the sims, and before that, we'll do it just using Golf Main. So let's just see where we get off a little bit easier. So with geomean filtering, so remember it's 230.9. Let's go geomean. Let's just get really easy first. We'll go, well, you want to go right for the throat? Let's go right for the throat. So 14.8. Can we even get to 14.8? I doubt it. Let's see. That's pretty gnarly to try that. Yeah, you can't get to 14.8. But you definitely can get to you could definitely get to 21.7, I think, real easily. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. Okay, so this is fine. And this is 230.5, so it really didn't do much. So let's do the same thing that we were doing before. Let's for this, we'll give it 3 points of average, and let's see the lowest ownership we can tolerate. So let's go like say 19. Let's just see what that does. 228. It's only dropped a point. That's pretty good. How about we go 18? 225. All right, that's no good. Okay. So we'll go back to 19. So this is a good set. Do we care who we have? No. Better off not knowing who you have here. So put this in the summer sand trap. Boom. So that was 228.38. Let's do the same thing. All that again. But this time we're going to run the sims. So I'm actually writing this down. This is like old school. 228.38 average projection using Golf Main, but with min uniques 3 with geomean filtering at, what was it, 19? Is that what it was? So now we're going to run the sims. We'll go to summer sand trap, risk adjusted ROI, 232.02. We'll do the same thing, right? So let's just see the lowest we get down, 231, 231. Probably won't get to min uniques 4. Yep, go back to min uniques 3. And we'll do the same thing. Let's go to geomean filtering. And what did I say? 19. So this is 227.93. Okay. So this average projection using the same approach, it's worse than using the Golf Main, but the same approach. So we're going to use the Golf Main, and we are going to stick with that. So let's get rid of this one. But what we are going to do is we are going to use for the bigger buy-in, we're going to use just whatever the sims are going to give us here. But let's just make sure. 22.17 for the signature hole. I promise you that's going to be fine. So we're going to. But what we will do is we will do min uniques 3 between the signature hole and the par 4. And then we'll download these. And then we will upload this. Now there's probably going to be a little bit of a loss of interest now, because at this point I'm going to be going and doing the League of Legends slate, which pays 1,000 for first. But I don't care. I'm playing it, so I'm going to show you the same process. Before I do that, let's go into the tennis streets and see what how we did with respect to the ownership projections and all of that. And that's what I do every single time. So we'll go line painter special, and then we'll go export lineups. And then we will save this file to here. Not here. It's going to be actually here. Ownership tracking. Replace. And so then we're going to use this macro that we created to see how we did with both the ownership projections and the contest field. Remember, that was our big discussion of which was a better contest field to use, ours or flagship MME. So let's just take a look. So let's look at the tennis. And we're now running something. We're comparing our ownership projection to actual. And then you will see that we made a couple of pretty gross errors here, right? So we underprojected by a pretty decent amount. Like, look at this. Muchova, 39%. I mean, what did I miss? Sigh. So, and if that's the case, but listen, in fairness to me, I did no worse than everybody else. You know, I don't know what's going on with tennis. Tennis is so tough. So we actually did, I think, a pretty poor job with the contest fields, not realizing that Piolini was 42. Like, for example, let's go back to that for a minute. Okay, let's analyze a little bit. Let's go back to the tennis slate, which we actually did. And why do we have Paolini just like not even existing? How much did I have of Paolini? First of all, in my pool, where is she? I mean, I had a 25% compared to 40. But just so that I'm not hallucinating, we'll take a look at what SaberSim had. SaberSim had Paolini at 27. So everybody underestimated what the field was going to do with Paolini. So that's something we have to research. We have to figure out why we made that mistake. Was there a big line movement? Was there anything like that? And this type of thing that's why I run this stuff, is to figure out what's going on. Now, unfortunately, also the sports projection site is not really picking up the dupes, so I can't really see how much I got duped here. But the good thing is that, not the good thing, but they don't have, it's not live yet. It's going to be live in like a few minutes. Then I'll be able to see my dupes and things like that. Then I have to do my push-ups, obviously. But so tennis is done. Golf at like 12:15 is going to be done. I want to check my EPL. EPL is not going to be good, it looks like. EPL does not look like it's going to be fun today. But you never know. Got a full half to work with. All right, so now is where kind of the lobby might empty, but listen, the part of TrueDFS is transparency. So I like to share everything that I do when I can. So this is and you'll notice the approach is very similar. This is the tennis, the League of Legends, and we can actually do this all over again. Okay, just to show you. It's a very small slate in that you can only get 9 entries, even in the in the lottery, sort of. So you don't need to build 900 lineups, really. I mean, because if you look at it, there are only, how many are even in this thing? There's only 313, so you don't even need to build that many entries. So we'll build, I guess, 313. I guess that makes sense. 313, and we'll rebuild these, and this shouldn't be that difficult. Now, again, because they're only 313, what's good is that you don't have to worry too much about being unique. but you still have to. It's like even worse if you can't get unique with only 313 entrants. So you have to just still be cognizant of it. So it is a two game slate. TL against FlyQuest you have G2 and MDK at 12, and then TL and FlyQuest at 4. And I'm not worried too much about subs or anything like that. And it's 3 out of 5. So one thing we could do if I am around later, I could do like a mid-match or a mid-slate update where I can figure out like really who everybody needs. Alcaraz and Djokovic both went down. Yeah. It's rough. I'm actually going on Monday. Weather permitting. Actually, the weather's going to be fine. Okay, so this is what it would look like. It's basically as most of the SaberSim builds come up with is mostly the favorites. So it's going to be TL and G2. So we could just go with this and play all the TL G2 combinations. But what fun is that? Okay, let's run the Sims against. I think for LEC using build 1 is just fine. Okay, and Gauntlet again. Just using ours is just fine. Because these are very, very easy to project, big favorites, not too many combinations. Okay. But the one thing that we can do again is just because these are most likely to win, we should still do something with the Geomean stuff. I'd love to try to make sure I got unique, but look at all these. These are all. With these, first of all, these ownership projections are terrible. For Team Liquid is not going to be 1% owned. Oh, and the Gauntlet? No, even still. Where do I have these guys? Why do I have Team Liquid at 1% owned? I don't know where this is coming from. As a matter of fact, because it's using my own. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this all over again. But again, I'm not too worried about the ownership projections. So let's do this again. Let's reset the ownership projections just for fun. Okay. Reset all player ownerships for everything. Now this looks a little more normal. We'll keep the lineups the same because that's based on the good projections. But when we're going to do Geomean filtering, we would like to know the actual projection. So let's rebuild these again, just for my own sanity. And yes, this is probably way too much work to be putting into a 2-game League of Legends slate that pays 1,000 for first, but we're doing it anyway. Because this type of skill set will translate to other things, like to bigger contests and to other disciplines. I find that doing this helps my stock market stuff. It helps everything. I tell my son all the time. I said, the brain is like any other freaking muscle. If you don't use it every day, it atrophies. So continuing to try to learn, even at my very, very advanced age. Right? Remember why we're doing this again? Is because we had the ownership projections we felt were fishy. So we're just kind of running them all over again. And see how the Geomean kind of like reset there? They were like at 10 and now they're at 9. Right? Okay, so let's redo all this. This all makes sense. Let's just make sure that we're using the right we're using builds 1, I believe, right? Weren't we? Or do we not know? Well, since we weren't sure, we're going to do it again. Okay. Now, the other thing we could do is we could do min uniques 2 or something like that and mess around as far as that goes. But I don't think that's really necessary. Let's just see. Shock Blast. Let's see what that would look like, by the way, if we went to min uniques 2. Will we get to anybody else except for these 2 stacks, G2 or TL, if we went to min uniques 2? No, not really. What if we went to like min uniques 4, for example? I just want to just see something. Yeah, I mean, then you get to different ones, but then, well, same thing. Let's do aggregate metrics, average, projected score. So you get to see what you would get, with min uniques like 1, average looks like, hold on, 1397 here, 1334. So it's like 60 full points. And so you do. But then again, I mean, is this that big of a deal? If we mention min uniques 4, we're getting a lot of different combinations with the underdogs, assuring ourselves of being unique. Let's just go back to min uniques 1 just for the hell of it, and we'll do the geo-mean filtering. Same as before. Same as all the other sports we've been doing here. So 313. 313 entries. It's actually 7 players in the lineup, right? And then if we went to 0.1, so 31.6. Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's go filter. Yeah, 31.6. That makes sense, right? Yeah, this looks good. It's a little bit different. And this is 1391. We'll go min uniques 2, 1373. We lose a little bit. We do pick up a couple of actually not really. Pick up like 1 lineup with MDK. Let's take a look and see if we have all 4 threes. We do. Let's then also take a look at, make sure we have nothing stupid in the captain, like any team positions, which we don't. So I think this is fair enough. Fair? All right, sounds good. So let's put in, well, let's just make sure we can't go min uniques 3 just to push our luck here. I mean, we could. I mean, this will give us a little more exposure on the underdogs. If we get there, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's do that. Let's go back and make sure that there's no bizarre captain. There is not. So we'll put these in the shock blast like so. And then we'll go back into the gauntlet, and the gauntlet's easy. Probably just put our best lineup there at this point. And then, but actually with only 9 entrants, we really should make sure that we're unique here. So what we have to do is let's see what these guys are sort of projecting and how much they're leaving on the table or whatever. So this one is 49.9. That's 50. This is 49.7. It's a little bit different. Maybe this one's a little bit different. The third one. See, this is like, looks like your standard, 4-man TL, like that, in the captain and all this. Where this one is very similar, but this one looks different. You know what I mean? Like it's got the captain, but then these other guys are down here, including the team. So this one, I think, has a better chance of being unique. And considering that the average projection is not really a lot different, I think we're going to use that one. Yeah, so something like this. So we'll put that one in the gauntlet. Boom. And then we should be good to go. All right. So stay tuned a little bit later today. Well, hold on. We'll check one more thing. Let's go check the we'll check the tennis one more time. See if I don't own any push-ups or anything like that, because we'll have to do those if in fact it's come out already. Contests, line painter. Ooh, wait. Yeah, so it looks like We got action. All right, so we might have to do some push-ups. So under users, let's do username contains MB Habes. And let's see what we have. So we have, oh no, 25 unique lineups and less than 5 dupes. So what should we owe though? I mean, are we really expected to have 100% unique lineups? Well, you know what? Let's compare ourselves to the other players, I guess, and then we'll make the determination. We have to owe something. Okay. So let's take the filter out. And let's see how these other people did. I mean, all these other geniuses. Were they able to get all these uniques? Let's see. Unique lineups. So this guy got 79 out of how many? Out of 100. So 80%. Yeah, we owe the 25 push-ups. So we got to go do that. 25 push-ups for me is not easy. So we're going to have to do this in spurts of 8. So we're going to do this. 8. All right, that's 16. All right, one sec. Okay. Listen, I mean, you're not going to learn to overdupe unless you get punished for it. So that's going to do it for Degen Saturday morning. And that should do it. Good luck, everybody.